Videos that are coming. Reverend Jones, good morning.
Good morning, but this side is actually evening. How are you doing, man?
So far, so good. Thanks for asking. So let's dive in. Where are you located?
I'm down in South Africa.
Awesome, awesome. So it is afternoon over there. In Los Angeles, it's really, really morning. It's about 5-10 minutes before 10 o'clock right now, so 9:45. All right, let's get started. How did you get started with Think and Grow Rich, and how did it change you?
Well, I was introduced that book with my spiritual father. That was about 3 years ago. Though the book is phenomenal. It has principles that you can actually use and to change your life drastically. Eh? Yeah.
What was the most important thing that you learned from it?
The very first chapter, which speaks on desire. I'm sure you would agree with me that you cannot go through the book without understanding that chapter first, because everything builds up from that very chapter, so that at least it helps you to put everything into structure, and then from there you're now able to follow your goals with a clear mind, with a clear goal, and everything that you do, it always comes out right. But even though you might face some hurdles along the way, but you're sure enough that you always come through.
Very good. Let me ask you a question. What are the two things that everybody needs to learn from that book, in your opinion? What are those two things?
The first thing, you need to be true to yourself, because that book actually does not just speak on the outside, it speaks from within. It helps you to discover who you really are and the gifts that you have. So first and foremost, you need to discover who you are. The second thing is to not let go of what you believe in.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And let me ask you a question. A lot of individuals, they come on our show and we talk about different people from different countries and different locations. Is the principles, do they work in different countries, or is it just US? Because a lot of people ask that, and a lot of people are confused as the principles, or do they hold, true everywhere, or is it just in certain areas? Because certain areas, certain people become richer or more successful faster. Does it have to do with the location, or does it have to do with the individual?
Basically, this is what I would say to everyone who's listening, whoever's going to join and watch this podcast. It has nothing to do with boundaries. It has everything to do with you. Because the principles that are in there, they are not governed to only work for people who are in the US. It's governed by the person who's going to take them, believe them, and then when you believe, then you conceive them. So when you conceive, basically you're giving birth to something that will take you to a place of greatness.
Awesome. Tell me, what is it that you do, and how are you implementing Think and Grow Rich philosophies yourself?
All right. Personally, I'm a marketer by profession, and I use this in my day-to-day living. You can never go wrong with the principles that you are taught in that book. So when I interact with my clients on a day-to-day basis, because of the nature of the business that I'm into, I do run a major into cars, and I also do consulting on the side as well. So everything that I do has to come to a point where I have to think about where am I really going. Because if you can't understand who you really are and the place where you're going, that book, they won't really help you much, because if you're not too sure of who you are, it becomes difficult. But with the work that I do, I end up going taking people to levels where when I'm interacting with them, there's a certain language that I'm now using. Basically, wealth is a language, poverty is a language. I'm based in Africa, and I'm sure Africa has always been affiliated with the language of poverty. So now when you start to speak the language of wealth, it kind of makes people to think, why do you talk like that? Because the principles that I'm talking, they're not just things that I'm thinking out of my head. I was taught from that very book. So when I started to implement them in my work, it makes it easier and having to understand the gift and the abilities that I have. And when I talk of abilities, I'm basically talking about the potential that you carry as an individual.
I agree with that 100%. I appreciate you taking this time this morning and being with us. We will be in contact. We got a few projects that are coming up that we might need your help on, and we're going to definitely be DMing back and forth. And I thank you being there. Have a blessed afternoon in Africa.
Awesome, man. You guys enjoy yourself. And remember this, if you're going to do anything this coming year, go buy a copy of the Think and Grow Rich and study it. Give yourself a month and tell me. I'm sure you would agree with me. After a month, there will be a change in your way of thinking. Awesome.
I agree with that 100%.
Sweet, man.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later, brother. Take care.
Awesome. Bye-bye.